President Trump came to Pittsburgh for a national conference.
And President Lee defended his pumpkin bowling title.
Good evening and welcome to Channel 14 News. I'm Rebecca Vaughan.
And I'm Joe Smeltzer. President Trump visited Pittsburgh recently to speak at the Marcellus Shale Insight Conference. Hugh O'Neill has the story.
President Trump also talked about Democratic Congressman Connor Lamb, also what Trump has done during his presidency, what he plans to do to finish out this term, and what he will do if he's reelected in the 2020 campaign.
Trump started out with the topic at hand, natural gas.
I promise that as president I'd unleash American energy like never before, because our natural resources do not belong to government, they belong to the people of this country. America, the greatest energy superpower in the history of the world, you're number one by far now.
Trump used much of his time for derogatory remarks about the Democrats. One specifically was local Senator Connor Lamb.
You know, they're vicious and they stick together, but they're lousy politicians. The do-nothing Democrats in Congress, including Democrat Connor Lamb. Connor Lamb wants to take away your guns. They want to take away your energy, that one you know. But we have to stop this Democrat insanity and get back to work.
Trump alluded to the scandals that have risen during his tenure as president.
People that fight with you all the time on the witch hunts. I've had the Mueller witch hunt, the Russia witch hunt. I have witch hunts every week. I say, what's the witch hunt this week?
The president also took time to tell his followers statistics about the positive things his administration has accomplished.
Now the African-American community has the lowest unemployment numbers in the history of our country. They have their best poverty numbers in the history of our country. We've now gained nearly 10,000 new factories under my administration.
For WCTV, I'm Hugh O'Neill.
The Department of Chemistry kicked off their Halloween season with a treat. WCTV's Lindsay Stenger has more.
Grab your goggles and get ready to rock and roll because the third floor steward is having a party, a haunted party, or a haunted lab, but same thing.
This is the Haunted Lab. It's sponsored by the chemistry, the forensic science, and the biology departments. And so we just kind of put on some experiments to show how cool science is and make it like an interactive thing to teach little kids.
Learning and fun, you don't hear that often.
Take one out and mix around.
Little kids love it. They get so excited about little color changes and things that I think, oh, no one's going to love this, but you see the faces, you know they do, so it's great.
But the kids aren't the only ones getting into the science. This event has been serving the community of Waynesburg for over a decade.
This is the 11th year we've done the Haunted Labs. So I went to a conference and there were some other groups that did a similar thing, and I thought that would be a great idea to bring it back here. It kind of fills the mission of service to the community and lets us use science to do it.
This year's turnout has been one of the biggest yet.
Yes, I'm surprised with how busy it is. Some years we've had like really low attendance, so we made an effort. We had some help from other departments. Shayla Batchelder helped us a lot to publicize it, so I paid off. We have like a big number of people here, so it's great.
Resulted in to create my toothpaste.
For WCTV, I'm Lindsay Stinger.
Fundraising for the Guatemala mission trip has begun, and Emma Hurley has more on how you can get involved.
Faith, learning, and serving. This is Waynesburg University's mission statement. One of the biggest ways that the university demonstrates this is through service trips. This past Tuesday, the annual Guatemala Luncheon was held on the third floor of Stover. This is one of the trip's biggest fundraisers. $5 for all of this. Not a bad deal. In addition to a home-cooked meal, a documentary was played from last year's trip to show the donors exactly where their money is going. This year's trip will take place after the school year has let out, but since this is one of the more expensive trips, fundraising begins pretty early. For Channel 14, I'm Emma Hurley.
Waynesburg University celebrated Harvest Fest last week with a roll, of pumpkins that is. President Lee was able to reclaim his title as Pumpkin Bowling Champion. Madison Strunk has the story.
Weather is changing, but that hasn't stopped the students and community of Waynesburg from having a good time. Organizations gathered together to celebrate Harvest Fest this past Thursday and set up games and photo booths for everybody to enjoy.
Our booth for the Matt Anthony yearbook, and we have a nice little photo booth set up with some props and a nice photo frame and some trick-or-treating with some candy.
And of course there was a lot of food, because what better way to celebrate Halloween than cotton candy and cookies. And then there's pumpkin bowling. Even President Lee participates every year and just so happens to win more than he loses. And what's pumpkin bowling, you ask?
What it is we take and, somebody goes out and buys pumpkins and we paint them, different characters, it can be any theme we want. We take and set up pins down at the bottom of the hill here and roll them down the hill, see whoever can last the longest.
This is my 7th year.
Nice.
For pumpkin bowl. I think I've won all but 1 year.
Oh, wow, okay.
Last year I was defeated. It's just part of the spirit of the university, I think, just the camaraderie, the fun, and so this is a lot of fun. And how often do you get to pumpkin bowl in your life? For me, it's only 7 times. So I look for every one of these opportunities. It's a lot of fun.
Reporting for WCTV, I'm Madison Strunk.
Democrats expected to hear more testimony Monday in their impeachment inquiry, but the witness didn't show up. Former Deputy National Security Advisor Charles Kupperman was scheduled to testify in a closed session in front of House Intelligence, Foreign Affairs, and Oversight Committees, but his attorney told him to skip it for now. On Friday, Kupperman filed a lawsuit asking a judge if he has to comply with the subpoena he received. That's because the Trump administration says the impeachment inquiry is not valid. The Democrats responded to that by threatening to hold Kupperman in contempt if he didn't show up. President Trump announced the most significant death of a terror group leader since Osama bin Laden in 2011. ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi died over the weekend after a U.S.-led nighttime raid. Now we're finding out more about the mission. John Orange reports.
ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi detonated his suicide vest in a dead-end tunnel Saturday after being cornered by U.S. forces in a Syrian compound. That's according to President Trump.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward.
Baghdadi was under surveillance for a few weeks prior to the mission, Mr. Trump told reporters Sunday morning, following his death. Last week, the president was given plans of attack.
He reviewed them, asked some great questions, chose the option that we thought gave us the highest probability of success.
The covert raid involved sending 8 helicopters of elite U.S. troops toward Baghdadi's compound. This footage, reportedly of the mission, was taken by a Syrian activist. Members of the Trump administration who watched the raid unfold as it happened from the Situation Room were tight-lipped about the mission, not even telling key congressional Democratic leaders about it. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi issued a statement calling the death of Baghdadi significant, but added the House must be briefed on the administration's overall strategy in the region. Regardless, Democrats agree with the president. The death of Baghdadi is a major moment in the war on terror.
It's good news in the ongoing fight against the terrorist threat posed by jihadist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda.
This is a real blow against ISIS and a positive step in the fight against stateless terrorism.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A suspect is in custody after a hit-and-run wreck killed 2 horses and injured their riders. It happened Friday night in the Lakeview Terrace neighborhood of Los Angeles. Police say a vehicle collided with the 2 horses, knocking their riders off. The suspect left the vehicle and ran off. The 2 horses died at the scene. One rider had a fractured ankle and the other a fractured leg. Police say the suspect will be charged with a felony hit-and-run. A man was shot and killed outside a Tennessee University dorm. Police say it happened Sunday night at Austin Peay State University in Clarksville. They say the victim was not affiliated with the school, but added he was the victim of a targeted shooting. His name hasn't been released yet. The shooting remains under investigation. Clarksville police and university officers are working together.
The Trump administration is going to extend temporary protections for El Salvadorans in the U.S. for at least 1 more year. It means upwards of 250,000 people from El Salvador will be allowed to stay for a minimum of 12 additional months. They are here under Temporary Protection Status, or TPS, a form of humanitarian relief. TPS applies to people in the U.S. who would face extreme hardship if forced to return to homelands devastated by armed conflict or natural disasters. The Department of Homeland Security says work permit validity will also be extended through the beginning of January 2021. A judge has already blocked the administration's move to terminate the protections. President Trump has been pushing to curtail TPS since he took office. Californians' wildfire crisis is getting worse. A new fire erupting in Los Angeles Monday threatens thousands of homes, including celebrities' mansions. CNN's Stephanie Elam reports.
Thick smoke and fierce flames cover canyons in Southern California. As a new fire, the Getty Fire, burns furiously, consuming more than 500 acres of hillside across the west side of Los Angeles. The fire forcing Highway Patrol to close parts of a major freeway, the 405. More than 10,000 structures are under mandatory evacuation, including the campus of Mount St. Mary's University, just north of the Getty Museum. Oh my God. Students at that college running out of their dorm rooms in the middle of the night.
Look how close the fire is. It's literally right there.
Officials warning of extreme shifts in weather that can happen in seconds.
Don't think that you know just because of past experience how quickly a fire can move.
In Northern California, a similar scene playing out in Sonoma County, where crews are battling the Kincaid fire for a sixth day. More than 66,000 acres have already burned in wine country. Nearly 200,000 people forced to flee their homes.
It's on fire. The road's on fire. I am getting over.
Officials say the Kincaid fire doubled in size Sunday as winds gusted to hurricane force. Firefighters are taking advantage of a brief break in winds Monday, but forecasters warn it's temporary.
We've got a kind of a quiet 24-hour window right now, and then we're going to go into another critical period Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Those not forced to evacuate are dealing with power outages put in place for nearly 1 million people in the Bay Area by the local power company, all part of an effort to prevent the fire from spreading.
A small plane crashed Sunday in the town of Leroy in upstate New York, about 30 miles southwest of Rochester. Authorities say all 4 people on board, a couple and their 2 kids, were able to get out of the plane by themselves. They were taken to the hospital with injuries believed to be minor. Authorities say the 6-seat, single-engine plane failed to take off from the Leroy airport and hit an earth embankment. It ended up a few yards from a mobile home park. A man who lives near the airport says he was watching the Buffalo Bills football game on TV when he heard a bang, went outside and saw people starting to get out of the plane, and he had his wife call 911. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. The fabric of our lives might soon be on your dinner plates. Well, kind of. Earlier this month, the FDA approved ultra-low gossypol cottonseed for human and animal food. Texas A&M AgriLife researchers have been working on it for nearly 25 years. Researchers say normal cottonseed can be harmful to humans and many animals because it contains high levels of gossypol, a poisonous chemical. However, the team uses a technology called RNA interference to silence a gene, largely removing the chemical from the cottonseed, which makes the protein from the seeds safe to consume. The gene editing only affects the seeds of the plant, not the stuff used to make your clothes. According to a Texas A&M press release, the next step is to get cotton farmers and the industry around the world to begin growing and marketing the special variety. That'll wrap up the national news. Whenever we come back, Lachlan Louden will tell you about the Apple's new product and more in the business and entertainment update.
It's a Saturday night. You know what that means. Time to party. Sam is having a good time, watching sports, drinking beer, playing Pong. Not a care in the world for Sam. Nobody at the party stops Sam. They let him walk out the door with his keys, even though he was stumbling, having a hard time to stand up. What happened less than 10 minutes later would change Sam's life forever.
I'm Lachlan Louden with your business and entertainment news. It's a spooky figure when it comes to Halloween spending. According to the National Retail Federation, Americans are expected to spend nearly $9 billion this holiday. And the big winners this year are pets, with people dishing out nearly $500 million on costumes for their fur kids. Mary Maloney has more in today's Consumer Watch.
Are you dressing up your pup or fur ball for Halloween? You're not alone, and social media sites are helping fuel the popular trend. According to the National Retail Federation, shoppers will spend about $490 million on pet costumes this year. That number is more than double what the NRF saw nearly a decade ago. The survey found 29 million people plan to dress their pets in costume for Halloween. Top costumes this year include pumpkins, hot dogs, and superheroes. The survey also suggests people are looking to social media for Halloween inspiration, with many pet parents showing off their dressed-up furry friends online. And it's not just pets. The NRF also says people turn to sites like YouTube and Pinterest to find creative inspiration for that ideal costume for themselves. Overall, those celebrating Halloween expect to spend about $86 on average this year, with costumes being the biggest expense, followed by decorations and candy. The top costumes for adults this year are witch, vampire, and superhero. Happy haunting! For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Facebook is launching a new tool to help users track their health. It's called Preventative Health. It focuses on tracking users' cardiovascular health, cancer screenings, and seasonal flu. You just enter your age and sex, and the app will make personal recommendations, like when to get your cholesterol tested or when to get a flu shot. Facebook is partnering with some heavy hitters for the initiative, including the American Cancer Society, the American College of Cardiology, the American Heart Association, and U.S. Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention. Their experts helped build the tool with the most up-to-date, accurate resources and information. The Preventative Health tool currently available only in the United States. Do you have an Apple Tech fan on your holiday gift list? If so, get ready for a special, pricey request. Apple is upgrading its popular AirPod wireless earbuds. The new ones are called AirPod Pro, and include a new design and some new high-end features, including noise cancellation technology. They also have a transparency mode that lets users hear music and the world around them at the same time. Details were released in a press release Monday, including the hefty retail price of $249. The new AirPod Pro hits stores on Wednesday. Elton John announced he's postponing a concert in Indianapolis because he's extremely unwell. The legendary singer and piano man delivered the news in a series of tweets. He wrote, "I absolutely hate to let my fans down, but I owe it to you to put on the best Elton farewell tour show possible. And unfortunately, that's simply not possible." The show has been rescheduled for March 26th of 2020, when he wrote, "I promise I will deliver the show you deserve." The venue said, quote, "We do apologize for any inconvenience caused by this necessary change. Bankers Life Fieldhouse looks forward to his performance in March and wishes Elton a speedy recovery." End quote. The 72-year-old Rocket Man plans to quit touring in 2021. Movie and music news now. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
I'm Sharon Tate. I'm in the movie. You're in this? That's me. I play Miss Carlson, the klutz.
What's a drama and what's a comedy? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood deals with the Manson family. Hustlers is about women who turn to crime, drugging men to steal their money. And Jojo Rabbit is about the Holocaust and features Adolf Hitler. Yet all three have plenty of humor. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, all three have been submitted as Golden Globe contenders for Best Musical or Comedy, not Best Drama. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association reviews the submissions and either approves or overturns them.
Such a long time. I've been waiting for a long time.
Post Malone is back on top. His album Hollywood's Bleeding spent 3 weeks at #1 on the Billboard 200 when it debuted this fall. Now it's returned to the top spot. It's the first album released this year to spend 4 weeks atop Billboard's album chart, and Malone's first album to spend 4 weeks at #1. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
True. And that's for your business and entertainment. When we return, Sam Hixson will have your Waynesburg Sports Update.
It's been a frustrating season for the Yellow Jackets on the gridiron, and Saturday was no different. Colin McLaughlin was at the scene for Waynesburg and St. Vincent.
Yellow Jackets and the Bearcats here at John F. Wiley Stadium was a defensive one. St. Vincent was able to run the ball at the end of the game and pick up a victory.
St. Vincent's a really good team. They fought us hard the whole game. I'm proud of my guys fighting back all the way to the end, but just not the outcome that we wanted, that's all.
Freshman running back Justin Flack opened up scoring for Waynesburg with a 68-yard run in the first quarter, putting Waynesburg up 7-0. St. Vincent would tie the score at 7 apiece late in the second quarter. The touchdown run was by Mike Stasko, his first of 2 in the game.
We just got to execute in situations, and the score is different in this football game.
Senior cornerback Ty McAleese made an outstanding interception. However, the Jackets wouldn't be able to capitalize off it. David Marshall would give the Bearcats their first lead of the afternoon early in the fourth quarter with a 16-yard run. Waynesburg responded with a 4-yard touchdown pass by Mason Schranker to Flack, making it 17-14. With 46 seconds remaining in regulation, Stasko had an 8-yard touchdown run. Waynesburg was now down by 4 and needed a miracle to win. Unfortunately, the miracle never came as Schranker's pass was intercepted, sealing the 21-17 victory for the St. Vincent Bearcats.
Yeah, this whole game came down to situations. You know, our special teams weren't getting done the job that we needed to get done. Gave them a couple short porches, and in those short porches, they got 14 points out of that.
Waynesburg football now has a bye week this week as they return back in action for Senior Day against Case Western when they return. For WCTV Sports, I'm Colin McLaughlin reporting.
Waynesburg's men's soccer team had its senior day as scheduled, even though Mother Nature wasn't being very compliant. Waynesburg welcomed last place Teal into a soaked John F. Wiley Stadium. We'll pick things up in the 37th minute. It's Nate Biondi on the cross from Nate Coomer to put the Jackets up early 1-0. Biondi's 4th goal of the season, and later on, a screamer from Daniel Hott about 25 yards away. That put the Jackets up 2-0 in the half. Teal would respond with a quick goal from Haig Jonasson just a couple minutes later, but then in the second half, the dagger from Coomer. And Coomer had 2 goals in 2 minutes, now leads the team with 6 goals on the season. And the Yellow Jackets would clean up Teal by a final score of 5-1. It was a bad night to be a Tomcat on the pitch on the women's side of things as well, where the Lady Jackets picked up a convincing 3-0 victory. Waynesburg finished the game with an 11-3 advantage in shots on goal and saw scoring from Christina Galanka, Leisha Wagner, and Jessica Silbaugh. Freshman Autumn Blair only had to make 1 save in the victory. She has only given up 2 goals in her last 4 starts. The volleyball team was looking for retribution on Saturday against Grove City after a heartbreaking defeat to Chatham just days prior. The Jackets did manage to win a set, but at the end of it all, lost to Grove City 3-1. Waynesburg got hammered in the first set by a score of 25-11, but responded with a 25-22 loss in set 2 and a 25-21 victory in set 3. Waynesburg then dropped the 4th set by a score of 25-19 for the final set for Grove City. Junior Hannah Colvin continued her stellar junior campaign with 12 kills and 16 digs. Alyssa Proper and Alexis Phillips both added 16 assists in the Jackets' loss. Jackets have yet to win a conference game this season. And that's your look at sports. Coming up next, Caleb Yauger with the weather.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library?
If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies, like Frozen, or TV shows, like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing, though. Take a trip to the second floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Everly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
The weather outside is looking beautiful today, mostly sunny and partly cloudy skies, and temperatures staying within a comfortable 70-degree range. As we go into tonight, we can expect the temperatures to drop all the way to a low of 49 degrees. Wednesday is looking about the same, mostly cloudy skies, but no signs of rain. We're expecting a high of 72 and a low of 58. Thursday, however, the chance of rain is 100%. The temperatures during the day are going to be in the high 60s. But the low is expected to be a chilling 38 degrees. As we head into the weekend, rain is likely to hold off. Friday is looking cloudy in the morning, but as the afternoon hits, the sun will come out to shine. Temperatures will be a high of just 46 degrees and a low of 31 degrees. Saturday will be similar. And mostly sunny skies with high temperatures in the low 50s and again a low of just 31 degrees. Well, guys, the weather has been really good to us lately and just been really beautiful fall weather for us lately.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like late October. We're entering November in a week, and I think that gets lost on all of us because it just doesn't feel like fall yet. We've really only had a few days that have that kind of fall temperature feel to it.
But there's no complaints. Like, let's keep the warm weather around as long as we can.
Indeed, let's keep the warm weather around.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for your Channel 14 WCTV newscast. I'm Joe Smeltzer.
I'm Rebecca Vaughan.
Thanks for tuning in.